What is the difference between a prenuptial agreement and a post-nuptial agreement? Well, the answer is in the prefixes themselves. A prenuptial agreement occurs prior to the parties actually entering into the marriage. It is a legally binding contract between the would-be spouses about how they're going to dictate their separate property, their community property, and their obligations to one another upon their marriage. It allows for individuals who like each other to be able to contract and agree upon their marriage moving forward, as well as their asset acquisitions, their income, their retirement, and can contract outside of the community property rules and regulations of the state of California. But this must be done prior to the parties getting married. There are some very specific timelines about when this needs to occur. In order for a prenuptial agreement to be valid, the signing of the agreement must occur 7 days after the final draft is presented to both parties. This can occur on the eve of your wedding. However, the final draft must be done at least 8 days prior to your marriage in order for it to be valid. A post-nup, on the other end, is what happens typically when a couple has engaged in a prenup that is going to be found to be invalid for one reason or another. It could be because of the timeline situation. It could be done because they couldn't agree before their wedding day. It could also occur because one party was represented by an attorney and the other person was not, and they tried to do waivers that are no longer valid with both parties not being represented. So in a post-nuptial agreement, married individuals enter into a marital agreement about an acquisition of a certain piece of property or about their rules, obligations to one another after they've been married. The date that it becomes effective is the date upon signing. That means that they would have to account for anything that occurred prior to that after the date of their marriage and moving forward if they want to cover everything from the date of their marriage moving forward. But a post-nuptial agreement can also be done if they only want to affect one piece of property or one transaction. It doesn't have to be all-inclusive like a prenuptial agreement does.